Peace to the family. We're gonna get ready to start. We're gonna start with libation by Miss Kinda.
Peace, family. My name is Kenda Bell, and I'm honored to support my brother with this event. And before we get started, we are going to open up the energy by giving thanks to the ancestors. And this is my first time doing this publicly, so just just know that. Okay. So we're going to start off by acknowledging the creator, that energy which is known by many names, which makes it possible for us to experience the liberation and freedom that we experience and give us the opportunity to experience more love, more abundance and energy. And we say Ashe. Now we are going to give honor and acknowledgement to the ancestors in our DNA. Those of us that have built and come forth from our gene pool, from our DNA. And right now, I would like for you to raise up those names of your family, giving them honor and ashe, and you can begin now. Okay. Okay. Ashe. Ashe. Now, of course, we are going to also give energy and love and welcoming in of the energy of our forefathers and foremothers that have gone before us in the areas of healing, the liberation, the sciences that we are proud of, those great names that we will never forget. And you will call them out right now. Fannie Lou Hamer, Malcolm X, Benjamin Banneker, Ida B. Wells. Okay. And we say Ashe. And I believe I did that. Am I complete? All right. And the final drop is for those that are yet to come, and we give them Ashe as well. All right.
Thank you. All right, y'all a little stiff in here still. If you could, let's stand. Y'all know we're gonna do the African pledge. Zion, if y'all could come in the middle with us here, bring the energy on in the middle. No, I can't have y'all here stiff like. Let's do the African pledge. Um, Repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to my people, the African race, the original man and woman of the earth, and the founders of civilization. I pledge to continue the struggle, which will help to bring my beloved brothers and sisters to total freedom. I pledge to study and discipline myself mentally, physically, and spiritually so that I may grow into a soldier for justice because my people need strong and intelligent warriors. I pledge to live my life standing tall for a person on his or her knees is not respected. But if I'm challenged, then I must say that I will not surrender my position nor my dignity, but instead, but instead, but instead, we shall endure until the final victory is won. Ashe. You may be seated. You may be seated. Big round of applause for even. And then we also like to say to get the spirit pumping into place. We say how the Africans feel as loud as you can. You say Oh yeah, but not like that. You know what I mean? All together in one. How the Africans feel? All right, cool. Thank you for coming out today. And we're gonna have a good time. We're gonna learn some things. I appreciate Sister Kenda for coming out and assisting with the event. Give her a big round of applause. And give it up to Dr. Assar in the back. This is his facility. Give him a big round of applause in the back. We appreciate all he does in the community. He has the restaurant, so don't forget to get some food while you're here. And we got books and incense and crystals and all kinds of stuff. Mask and what else we got, Dr. Assar? Hygiene products, all of that, all of that. Yes. And all types of services too. So if you need some counseling services, some personal ones, relationships, the brother there, that's what he does. That's what he does for a living. He has the upstairs. I think they do massages here too, right? Okay, all right. Any of y'all out there massage therapists? Nah. not yet. Gee, Monimi, this young guy. Now look, I'm laughing. So I bought my I'm a master barber for those who don't know, and I train barbers here in Baltimore. Not to toot my own horn, but I've trained more apprentice barbers in the state of Maryland than anybody has. But that's what I do. And so this young brother here in the white and young Tavon over at the door, this is a part of their training. I make them come out. I made them come out to this event today because we do free haircuts on Saturdays, and they're like, "Oh, okay, we coming," but we want our barbers to be into information and knowledge. When you're actually teaching the people. I mean, you cutting their people's hair, you want to give them information and knowledge. So we don't want it just to be over cutting their hair, playing all kinds of crazy music and things of that nature. You got to give information, knowledge. So that's where we come from, and that's what I teach them, to do more than put hair on the floor, but to actually educate our community. Because we preachers, it's a ministry. It's a ministry. We teachers, we healers, all of that. So so I had to have my apprentice come out today. So we appreciate them for coming out today. But I'm not going to take too long. I'm going to introduce Miss Kenda. Miss Kenda, we have the Mayat Temple elevation that we do together. We'll be trying to elevate our minds spiritually in the community. Her and her king, Simbi, and Sister Monica, and my sister. Give it up to my sister, Patrice, who's holding it down. She's been to more lectures lately. You know what I'm saying? She don't have no choice. She got to hold it down for my mama. So then mommy would have been there, right? You know what I mean? She's like, okay, all right, I'm coming. So it's all good. But give it up to Sister Kenda Bell. Give her a big round of applause.
Now I'm in my wheelhouse. So guys, LLoyd Strayhorn, master astrology numerologist, has been all over. If you have not seen him on Geraldo, Oprah, the Montel Williams show, I don't know how. Over the past 30 years, he has been giving knowledge from an African perspective with numbers and astrology, the best combination. He hails from Harlem, and we are so pleased and honored to have him here. If you have not had a reading with him, if you have not purchased Numbers and You, I implore you to make sure you go over there and get some. And he has an app as well that we're going to share. I'm sure he is going to share that. But this event is really about us understanding that astrology, numerology, the mathematicians of the world learned from us first. We are the foundation of the system that many others use. And we have a knowledgeable expert treasure that's going to share with us the knowledge and the wisdom that is in our DNA. So let's get activated by this knowledge of study. And I welcome to you, Master Astro Numerologist LLoyd Strayhorn. Thank you for coming.
Can you all hear me? Okay. Yeah, my mother says I have a voice that carries. It may be true. Introductions to me are always embarrassing. For me, I'm just Lloyd. I like to keep it simple. For those, I am an astronumerologist, which means I combine the science of astrology and numerology together. The theme is about the African origin of numerology, which is true. Um, when I was studying numerology, they says, if you may have heard this guy Pythagoras. Supposed to be the father of numerology. He's the father of Western numerology or modern numerology, not mystic. And one day I was home, and as I was reading about his background, he went into the land of Egypt to study numerology. Now, if one asks the logical question on what continent is Egypt located, that's on the African continent. Anybody, if y'all got another place where it's supposed to be, y'all let me know. And the reason why it's so important because so many of the things that we brought to this world has been co-opted and made to be given as theirs. It's not. We are the fathers of civilization. I've never heard the pledge that um, Jabari, Jabari gave, but I'm a little nervous right now. I'll relax in a second. I never heard that, but I'm with him all the way. I've always believed in self-determination. I believe we are the greatest people on the planet. We are the original man. When my children were young and we were studying the seven continents, I don't care what continents they can't remember, they better start off with the African continent first because all civilization comes from there. So we're the greatest people on the planet. Um, in 356 BC, when Alexander the Great was in Chaldea, which is Egypt, they told him then that this knowledge of esoteric information was hundreds of thousands of years old. So at one point, if you said Chaldea, it was strongly associated with the metaphysics, astrology, things of this nature. And so and I want to make sure I got all my notes because I got a few notes. Have y'all ever heard of the Dogon people? Well, the Dogon people knew about what is called the dog star. Now, most people will call it the Sirius star B, but the dog star was they knew about Sirius A and Sirius B at the same time too. I will say this: I like the small size we have. Sometimes I go in it's like takes up the whole place, but I like it when it's small because that way I can give you all my undivided attention. I can answer all your questions, and then I'm nosy too, so it's good. I can't be nosy for everybody, but this is the place. The Dogon people was in Mali. Now I don't know whether any of you are keeping up with what's going on in Africa, but Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso are coming into independence. In fact, they kicked France out. They've taken over the gold mines, and in fact, um, Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso has the has now, the official language was French there. That is no longer the case. For people who have been used to being taught French, they will use it, but that is no longer the official language. So Western powers are very, very scared. It's interesting they will tell us it's a poor country, but why are y'all up in there? You know what I'm saying? The gold, the diamonds, the bauxite, the copper, coffee, the chocolate, all of it comes from there. So how can it be poor if everybody's going there to get all these things that we do? And I understand these phones can't exist without certain elements that they come from Africa. What they've also discovered now is, do you know they have melanin on the stock market? They're finding that melanin runs better than some of these other products that come from Africa. And I think we're all melanated. Y'all look all melanated to me. So it just shows you our value. Um, and another thing too, to understand that when we were brought here, um, we were not by, shall we say, volunteer nature. And so, it's interesting when you have a person like from Ireland, they'll say they're Irish American or Italian American, but they will still say their roots are Italian. So we're African Americans, but my roots is African. I am African. I just don't know where my parents and my great grandparents and their parents came from, but we're African. And I think if you take that kind of mindset, it's better. But they always want to start off with slavery. You know what I'm saying? So we have that slave mentality. So it's very, very important that we begin to really understand the importance of everything. What's interesting is they'll say math, they say numerology is not African. But if one looks at the Pyramid of Giza, the Pyramid of Giza is built at the exact center of the earth. That has to be mathematical. You don't have people who have no knowledge of it. Did any of you use your GPS to get here? I guess, see, I used it. I used mine to get here. Well, the GPS was developed by a black woman that lives in the next state in Virginia. Her name is Gladys West. We are so dynamic. The cell phone is our contribution. The internet is our contribution. I mean, there's a book called Black People Invented Everything. I think it's just about right or close to it. But they are giving credit to other people. And I'm not trying to take things away from other people, but I don't want to take anything away from ourselves. So the Dogon people, getting back to them, they knew about this. And the reason why I got off because they were originally in Mali. And so Mali's changing and South Africa's changing, all of Africa. And in fact, for several years, I said that Africa is the sleeping giant. When Napoleon went through China in the 1800s, he referred whatever he saw in China, he says that this was the sleeping giant. I'm telling you, Africa is a sleeping giant, seriously. And it's so interesting. So with the Dogon people, they knew all about the things in the heavens, the planets, the distance, the weight, the circumference. They knew about this stuff, and yet they had no telescope. How did they do that? And this gentleman here, I don't know whether you know him, his name is Benjamin Banneker. He was born here in Maryland. He was born here on November the 9th of 1731, okay, and died in D.C. on October the 9th of 1806. But he was an astronomer, an astrologer, a surveyor, and a lot of people, really think he was related to the people of Dogon. How could these brothers? There is an excellent book called The Serious Mystery, and it talked about the Dogon people, how they knew about all this stuff. And when you look at photographs of the Dogon people, they look like they were like right on Hartford Avenue or Lenox Avenue in Harlem. Just but But again, we were not given any credit. Supposedly the missionaries came through. See, everybody want to get credit but us. But we are very dynamic. And in fact, the United States believe in it because when they used this gentleman and the reason why Benjamin Banneker, he built the first movable clock, he did the almanac. And so they want to put him beside Benjamin Franklin, who's supposed to do all this. But he was really the Benjamin, okay, to do all the things he's done. And so when they hired him, it wasn't just to construct Washington, D.C., but he also knew about the heavenly constellations. So, for example, everybody is a number, including states, including cities, or whatever the case is. Baltimore, what do they call your state? I mean, Maryland. You know what they call it? Like the New York State, they call it the Empire State. Do you know what they call? What is it? You're close. The old line state. That's exactly what they call um, Maryland. And in fact, it was founded on April 28th. So it has a birthday coming up. It was founded in 1788. Baltimore is actually older than the state of Maryland. Baltimore was founded on August the 19th. It's a Leo, and that was in 1729. The capital, I think, is Annapolis. Yeah. So that was founded on December the 3rd of 1708. So cities, states, individuals, nations have birthdays. So, for example, if you ever want to know what's like this whole issue with China and America, they're trying to ban TikTok. I don't think that's going to work. They got 170 million people involved with it. But when I went to China, their numbers are the 8 and the 6. Here in the United States, its number is the number 4. To give you an example, with the United States, they started off with 13. Well, first of all, it was founded on the 4th of July, right? So it had 13 stars. 1 plus 3 is 4. 13 signers of the Declaration of Independence. They had 13, the flag had 13 stars, 13 stripes. The United States was defended by 13 naval ships. E pluribus unum, 13 letters. The White House, 13 letters. Don't tread on me, 13 letters. And what's interesting, a president is elected every 4 years. For those that live in the DC area, it is broken into 4 quadrants: northeast, northwest, southeast, southwest, because when they built DC, or the District of Columbia, they call it, it was designed to run from north to south, not east to west, which I think is interesting. But at any rate, if you look at DC, anybody here live in DC? Because they have 4 streets. They have alphabet streets. They have single syllable streets. They have double syllable streets. They have triple syllable streets, and they have streets that are named by flowers and trees. In the alphabet street, they have no J Street. It's spelled Jay. There's a K Street. There's a D Street. There's a E Street, but there's no J. It's spelled Jay, not the letter J. I don't know why that is. Not only that, but there's no X, no Y, no Z streets. So if you take out 6 and 4 of those alphabets, that's 22 that remains, which is a 4. The zip code to DC is 20002, which is a 4. The area code is 202, which is a 4. The president is elected every 4 years. So people would say all this is a coincidence, but that's exactly why they hired Benjamin Banneker to build this. So when y'all go to DC, we have done so much to build all of these things that we are given no credit for. You know what I'm saying? Imagine a lot of the inventions that people have making money actually came from us, but we were not allowed to patent them or get credit for it or copyright for it and everything. So it's very, very important we understand that. If any of you have questions, I would like to do that. I'm going to get all your birthdays because I am not so much more about the history. I mean, I love history, but I'm born in the streets of New York City. So everybody, when they gave the birthday, what does it mean? For example, when I talked to Jabari told me he was born on the 12th. His son is born on the 21st. His partner, Kenda, is born on the 21st. His sister, who's sitting right there, is born on a 3. His mother is born on the 21st, and 2 plus 1 is 3. His barber shop is 525, 219. He adds up to 12. You know, every single one of you have your own number patterns too. So the nice thing about a small crowd like this is I can ask everybody their numbers because all of you have numbers, all of you have days, all of you have dates, all of you have events in life that will make it much easier for you. So I think for me, I guess that was it, other than, oh, let me tell you about the 4, which governs the United States. There have only been 5 Aquarian presidents. Out of the 5 Aquarian presidents, 4 of them have died in office. What makes it interesting is there's only one Aquarian president that left office alive. His name was Ronald Wilson Reagan. Okay, 6 letters in his first name, 6 letters in his middle name, 6 letters in his last name. He was born on the 6th of February. His wife, Nancy, whose name numerically adds up to 15, which is the 6th, was born on the 6th of July. The point is, everything about him was related to the 6th. For example, Dr. Martin Luther King was assassinated in 1968. If you turn the 68 around, Ronald Wilson Reagan made his name a national holiday in 1986. But that made sense because 1 plus 9 plus 6 plus 8 equals 24, and 2 plus 4 is 6. But what happens that makes the difference is the 4 Aquarian presidents that didn't make it out, William Henry Harrison died in office, then Abraham Lincoln died in office. In fact, Roosevelt died in office. When there was an attempted assassination on Ronald Wilson Reagan's life in Maryland, no, excuse me, it was downtown in Hilton in downtown Washington, D.C. They actually, his wife actually hired an astrologer, and he made no moves until she did his chart. There are certain religious bodies that have a problem with what I do. I will name them. So if one of them, don't take it personal. But Jehovah Witnesses have a problem with what I do. Born again Christians have a problem with what I do. And Seventh-day Adventists. Anybody belong to any of those? Okay. And first of all, there's a question also. Does what I do go against the laws of God? Or is there a conflict? Not at all. Let me explain. There is, name me a war fought in the name of a zodiac sign. They can't name me one. Name me a war fought in the name of a number. Name me a war that's been fought over any of these. But if you look at most of the wars that are fought, they all are religious contexts in nature. The Muslims and the Hindus, the Protestants and the Catholics, and yet all of them say do not kill. So sometimes when people get upset with me, what I do don't kill anybody. Until they find me a war fought in the name of a zodiac sign or whatever, I will do what I'm doing. Numbers guide you. Numbers guide everything we do. You can't do anything without numbers. I was telling Jabari, I says, if you don't believe in numbers, can you send me your paycheck? I haven't got nobody's paycheck. Y'all believe in those numbers, okay? But all of you have a number that guides you. So what I'll do is, the nice thing is about this room, the size of the room, I can really get into more detail. Those who are streaming, if so, they can chime in too. So let's see who am I going to start with. I'll start from the back and work to the front. Normally they start from the front. Something says go to the back. What's your birthday? Yes.
October 31st.
Okay, you're 4. Now, did you know you were a 4? Okay. Here's what I'm saying. We all know our zodiac signs. Is there anybody here by show of hand that don't know their zodiac sign? Okay, is there anybody here by a hand that doesn't know their number? Because you are not just a sign, you are a number as well. So you're no longer, to me, just a Scorpio. You're a Scorpio 4 person. Okay. Young lady?
January 7th.
Okay, so you know you're a Capricorn, but you're a Capricorn 7 person because you're born on the 7th day of the month. You, sir, with the hat? Okay. So you're a Scorpio also, but you're a Scorpio 2 person. Do you know how I got that? I says 2 plus 9 is 11, and 1 plus 1 is 2. That's what got me hooked on this. All you got, if you got 2 or more numbers, you got to reduce them until you get to a single number. So a person like, for example, Baltimore was founded on the 28th of April. I mean, Maryland. So it's a number 1 state because 2 plus 8 is 10 and 1 plus 0 is 1. Baltimore was founded on the 19th of August. 1 plus 9 is 10, 1 plus 0 is 1. So the state of Maryland and the state of Baltimore are both number 1s. One is a state, one is a city. New York is a number 1, Boston is a number 1, Atlanta is a number 1. So each city and each country has a number, and no one is accepted. But your key numbers are the 2, 7, and 3. Excuse me, the 2, 7, and 6. Those are your numbers. And your birthday, I jokingly says that with most men on a 2, they normally, that women can be your blessing and your curse. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, normally that gets a rise out of people. Your birthday?
June 10th.
Okay, June 10th, that's one of my favorite birthdays. It's not my birthday, but it's one of my favorite. Hattie McDaniel, are you familiar with Hattie McDaniel?
Yes.
She is the first African American woman to win the Academy Award for Gone with the Wind in 1939. When she won the Academy Award, do you know they wouldn't let her sit She had to go sit off it kind of in the kitchen area, but that was her birthday. And where I relate